Week 14 is going to be as crazy a week as you've seen in the Flock League because it has every implication you can imagine.
All right, by the way, I want to give you guys an update on the Chili's gift card winner from last week's video.
Enough is enough. I don't want you around anymore. I want you going out there, running the dang ball between the tackles, and imposing your will.
Get rid of these buys. They're boring. And also, they put you at a disadvantage because you better hope I don't sneak into this fantasy postseason.
I haven't seen this guy smile since week 3. He throws on a turkey hat. He's a completely different guy.
And I know just the person that's going to help me defeat Austin.
And that person is Anonymous. That's right, Austin. This is your worst nightmare. We heard that you work as a developer. You work with computers, with coding, with software. Well, your worst nightmare is one of the best hacking services in the world, and that is us, Anonymous. We do things for the better of society. We protect society against negative entities like you, Austin. And our friend Sal had to call in one last favor, he said. He came to us and said there was a bad person roaming around his fantasy league. A person that was trying to keep him out of the fantasy postseason, Austin. And we just can't let that happen.
Yes, it's me.
So this week, when you're trying to set your lineups, when you're trying to make any waiver moves, when you're trying to make transactions, we'll be there to make sure everything goes wrong.
I'm not gonna lie, this turkey hat is like 10 times cooler than I thought it was gonna be.
Yeah, the waiver wire was not good for your boy.
So the waiver wire goes through, and obviously Isaac Horrendo, as we wanted Steve to, aka Tom, he goes out there and he spends $76 to get Horrendo. Perfect.
Tom ends up getting the 2 best pickups probably of the week. He gets Garindo, he gets the Saints. I have to go up against both. I was an idiot, and in week 14, I wasn't thinking about who my defense would be in week 15. So I don't really have much to choose from. I mean, I picked up the Chargers, great defense, but horrible matchup going up against the Chiefs.
Austin doesn't have Christian McCaffrey this week. So just to paint the picture of his team, he has Bijan Robinson, obviously fantastic, a lot of other talented players. No Christian McCaffrey, who's done for the year, and then Blake Corum. So his only other running back before waivers cleared was Blake Corum. Look at this right here. Austin spends $34. Obviously, you got to spend your money till the year is over on Chris Rodriguez. This was not Austin, people. Austin did not do this. My friends Anonymous were responsible for this one because Chris Rodriguez is the number 3 running back on his team. He scored a garbage time touchdown last week, and also Chris Rodriguez is on bye this week. So not only is he the number 3 running back, not going to play on most weeks on his team, he's not even playing this week.
You know, I thought this was a perfect opportunity for me to reflect on the season since, you know, my season is over and talk about some of the worst decisions that I made, the top 4, in fact, that really ultimately ended up costing me the season, even though I had a pretty decent team. And at the end of the day, were worthy of me being slapped by a turkey.
Clearly, Austin, who knows a thing or two about fantasy football, meant to put in for somebody else. Maybe Sincere McCormick, who potentially could start this week, we'll see. Maybe just any other running back who's actually going to touch the ball and score more than 0 fantasy points like Chris Rodriguez this week. No. That's not what's going to happen here because this wasn't Austin.
This was Anonymous.
Not feeling good. Just got, cooked by a dev and worried about what this means for Sunday.
Tua was available in our league. Tua is rostered in like over 70% of leagues. He's somehow available in our league. I assume he got dropped during his bye or when he was injured. I don't have my number 1 quarterback in all fantasy, Bo Nix, this week. He's on bye.
Let's all get pumped that it's week 14 and that the playoff picture is entirely in question still. We still have no idea who's actually going to end up in the playoffs and outside of the playoffs.
Week 14 is going to be as crazy a week as you've seen in the Flock League because it has every implication you can imagine. And we really have no idea what's going to happen.
Hopefully more creators can, suffer with me in the toilet bowl because, I'm not going to be in the playoffs. I'm playing for pride this week. I'm playing for the turkey. Let's freaking go.
I go into the drive this morning. I just see Nathan rocking that turkey hat. And I wish I didn't hop into the drive this morning, to be honest.
It literally all comes down to this. Are you in or are you out of the playoffs? Not only do you have 6 teams at 6 and 7, but we have a couple teams at the very top that are battling it out for the buys, including yours truly. Let's get in uniform. Let's get this freaking party started. Anyway, Zach has already locked this up, right? We already know this. Zach is the number 1 seed.
So as you guys know by now, we've already locked up the number 1 seed. This week means nothing to us. Next week means nothing to us. We've already told the entire roster, hey, take 2 weeks off, get your mind right, go hang out with your family, your friends, and think about what you're playing for when it matters in the playoffs. At this point, I don't really know what to do. I mean, I might catch up on some me time. Maybe that's what I'm going to do.
I sent a message earlier in the chat saying, well, you know what? If it wasn't for the Pat Frymuth fumble stat correction, I probably would be the number 1 seed right now. A lot of people go, oh, how does that work? The records don't match, blah, blah, blah. It's because they simply don't have the understanding of what momentum means for a fantasy football team.
I see, Mason coming in saying that he could have been the number 1 seed in this league, that he's potentially trending to get a bye. I see Avery fighting for a bye spot. I know that Zach's already scheduled in for a bye in this. First off, 2 things in terms of the buys. I've been playing fantasy football for, 15 years at this point or so, somewhere around there. That sounds about accurate, 8, 9 years old. And I don't know, at that point, maybe 20 years or so. It doesn't matter. In all my years of playing, the leagues that have been the most fun are the ones where teams don't get buys in the fantasy playoffs. If I was the best team in my fantasy league, I would not in the first round of the playoffs in week 14, 15 of the season want nothing to play for. What am I even doing out here? Get rid of these buys. They're boring. And also, they put you at a disadvantage because you better hope I don't sneak into this fantasy postseason. If I sneak into this fantasy postseason and my team is coming off red hot off of 4 straight wins, nobody else in this league is even at 3 straight wins. If that's the case, and you're going to be on bye, your team's going to be watching on the sidelines, eating potato chips, going out, maybe clubbing, partying, and my team's actually in the film room, all together, community, having fun, good times, winning, rolling into a game red hot. Good luck. So Zach, Mason, maybe Avery, you better pray that I don't win and get into the postseason this week because I'm coming for your heads if I do.
Then fighting for that number 2 seed. Again, if it wasn't for the Pat Frymuth lateral fumble stat correction, we would have already locked this up. But sadly, it's not official. Yeah, we still are fighting out for the bye. Now, we have a very easy way to guarantee that we get this. Because we are sitting at 8-5, the second best record in this league. If I win this week, it's done. It's over. They have no remote chance to catch up to us.
The first one is going to be trading away Brock Bowers for a bag of chips. That deserves a single turkey slap. That was awful.
There are a couple other ways that I could get it. I could lose, but we could also see an L from both Avery and Austin. Then I'm still sitting here with the bye.
Regardless of what happens, I either want the bye, or if I don't get the bye, I want to be on the same side as Mason. I want to be on the same side of the bracket as Mason. And if I get the 3 seed, so basically what it comes down to is if I win, I'm in good shape. I need to win this week. Again, it would help if Mason lost. I could go ahead and get the bye, but as you know, the luck has not been great this year, and we're gonna have to have some help from Corey's team to make that happen. As Corey would say, his team will have a generational week this week. Corey likes to use the term generational when people's teams score 120 against them. So
I could lose, Avery could win, but I could outscore Avery's team by 170 points, and then I would have the points tiebreaker, which is looking a little unlikely.
And then we get to losing to Mason 1 time. That's also worth a turkey slap. Mason's a fraud.
But really, it all comes down to I need to beat Tom, right? Tom is the one person in this league that has no idea what the hell he's doing. His first year ever playing fantasy football. He's just a little old dev.
So that was Smoke on the Water by the band Deep Purple.
Okay.
Then afterwards, you have Avery and Austin, both pretty much sitting at 7-6, locked and loaded into the fantasy playoffs.
this week we have Corey, a very respectable fantasy football player that has had a rough year in the Flock League. And I will be the first to admit that Corey's demise in this league has been quite funny to me. I like Corey a lot, but I also like seeing Corey not do well. And so this has been a lot of fun. Now, what we can't let happen is us get cocky or try to play games or anything like that. So basically, we're still Zero Dark Avery. We're going to take care of business this week.
And then going through and looking at what we have with the 6 and 7 insanity. You have 6 teams that are 6 and 7 in this league, 2 of which are currently in the fantasy playoffs with Badaki and Thomas. Badaki, he gets to play Zach.
This is the Collusion Bowl. We got Zach obviously benching half of his roster because they're all on bye.
Zach is currently sitting with Derrick Henry, Joe Mixon, Jonathan Taylor, Terry McLaurin, all on bye.
I don't want to jump the gun, but you can almost write him in for the playoffs to hold that 5 seed, and you're going to have both land guys making a run for the championship.
If Badaki manages to lose this week, it is an all-time fumble. I can't even imagine anything more embarrassing. And he deserves to be out of the playoffs, and he probably deserves to lose the toilet bowl. Going over to what we have with our next 6 and 7 teams. We have Thomas, my editor. Obviously, this is who I'm rooting for. I mean, we've taught him so much over the past few years.
We do have Nathan the Bug playing against Thomas the editor. Both obviously have worked for Mason in the past.
Thomas is currently at the 6th seed. He is playing me this week. I can't win back-to-back games, but I can crush people's dreams. I'm playing for pride. We'll see if I can take him down this week.
We are on Team Nathan. Nathan, if you're hearing this, just know I am your biggest fan this week. Don't care about what the comments say. Don't care about what the other creators say. Just know that I am on your fucking side, and all of Team Danny Lad is on your side this week. If you're watching this right now and you're on Team Danny, comment down below. We want the Bug to win, because we are cheering for the Bug this week. Let's go, baby. Get that W, brother.
Then you have losing to Mason again. That's another turkey slap. You can't be losing to Mason twice in a year, or you're not worthy of making the playoffs, as fraudulent as he is, and somehow is going to probably get a first-round bye.
So if Badaki and Thomas can get these wins, then your playoffs are set how they are right now. But if one of them fall back, if one of them ends up losing, that opens the door. It opens the door for Mr. Sal Vetri, who has risen from the bottom, risen from the ashes. Used to be dead last in this league. Yes, he was behind Joe at one point. Sal would possibly sneak into the fantasy playoffs, which would just be an all-time comeback. And really, I can't even imagine how much I'd begin to charge him for these lessons.
Team Anonymous this week is, as of right now, it's like a 50-50 coin flip between Team Anonymous and Austin this week.
But Sal himself is actually dealing with a considerable amount of buys.
I have Bo Nix, Brian Robinson, Cortland Sutton, and Zay Flowers on my bench. 4 guys that I would likely be starting this week, but I also have a lot of depth. I have Evan Ingram and even Nick Chubb on my bench this week, so I do have replacement options if needed. But if we scroll up a little bit here, like, I'm feeling okay given this current circumstance. Like 3 weeks ago, I would have got smoked by Austin's team. He's dealt with some injuries, the big one, Christian McCaffrey. So he has to play Blake Corum, who I swear to God, Blake Corum, he better not be the week where he takes over this backfield. I don't think it will be by any means. CeeDee Lamb, who's playing banged up. As of right now, it seems like he's going to play, but it's not really seen. Deebo Samuel, who over the past month has kind of fallen off. Knock on wood that continues. So, like, I mean, Quentin Johnston's in his starting lineup. I feel a lot better about this matchup than I would have, I don't know, 3 or 4 weeks ago. But if we look at my team right now, Tua off the waivers, okay, just give me 15 points. Bucky Irving and Rico Dowdle, 2 of the hottest running backs in fantasy, and yet again, great matchups. We're forced to start these guys, but Brian Thomas, even though he has Mac Jones, Juwan Jennings, Jonnu Smith, Ladd McConkey at this point is probably my best player, and I am, as of right now, starting Amari Cooper.
Sal can't just win this week. Sal needs one of Badaki or Thomas to lose as well.
Sal, in terms of points for on the season, is only like 40 points behind Thomas, 35 points behind Thomas.
And let me just remind you, we were 3 and 7 in dead last. I came on this channel and said, listen, I did some of the math. I have to win out, get to 7 and 7, and then score a lot of points and get some help. We are currently 75% of the way through that. We have won out 3 weeks in a row, and in Nathan Bush's season, beat the best team in the league in Avery last week by dropping 180 points. And now we're in a position where if we win, reminder, if we win this week, we probably have, I would say, playoff odds like a 60-something% chance of getting in. We have to basically just win, continue to put up 120 to 130 plus points, and we're probably in at that point. If we win and Tom loses, we're basically in at that point. That's as simple as it comes if you're rooting for Team Sal this week. Some other complications come into play. If we win and everybody else wins, I have to start to score like 30 to 50 more points than some other people in the league to get them by points tiebreaker. Let's just drop another 180 points and we're in the postseason next week. That's what I'm saying.
Going over to Danny.
Shouldn't be in this spot, but here we are, man. We're entering week 14, and not only do we have to win to get in, we need help along the way. Basically, what needs to happen for me this week is I need Thomas the editor to be taken down. No matter no ifs, ands, or buts. I need Nathan to have his best week of the year and take down Thomas the editor. Once that is out of the way, I will then need to outscore Sal by about 25.5 points, 26 points, give or take. Let's say 26 points is what I'll need to outscore Sal by, or I would also need Sal to lose. So first things first, we do need to take down Joe. Again, I am not discounting anything. We saw Joe rip off that 4-game win streak. We need the big boys to come out and play. Herbert, Tracy, Chase Brown. Don't even get me started with Breece Hall, Tyreek Hill. They're both questionable right now. It sounds like Tyreek's going to play, so I'm not as worried about him. But Breece Hall, let's fucking figure it out, buddy. 6 points is unacceptable, especially considering the emergency sub I had in your place outscored you by 15 points. Figure it out. You were my first round pick. Enough is enough. I don't want you fucking around anymore. I want you going out there, running the dang ball between the tackles, and fucking imposing your will.
Oh my, that's bloody beautiful.
It's trash cans.
You don't understand abstract art though. I can teach you one day if you want.
6 points, 12 carries, 60 yards. I don't want none of that shit. You know what I want? I want 30 carries. I want 180 yards. I want 2 touchdowns, and I want 7 catches. Go out there and play like my first round pick, because otherwise my season is fucking chalked, Breece. Figure it out, brother. Anyways, off of Breece Hall, we go to Will Dissly and Justin Herbert, like I mentioned, back to the stack. And then closing it out in terms of my final player. I mean, I got to give my flowers to Nick Westbrook-Akine. I mean, what he was able to do on my bench last week, scoring the touchdowns that he has, 8 touchdowns on 20 catches this year, going up against the Jacksonville Jaguars secondary. I mean, if you're going to keep scoring this many points, Nick, like, I got to put you in the lineup, man. You know what? You're making it so hard as a coach to leave you on the bench. And that is the type of fight I want on my teams. I want guys that will go out there, put up points on my bench and say, you know what, coach, you are dumb for sitting me. And Nick, I apologize. I was dumb for sitting you for that selfish Breece Hall last week, but now I need both you guys to play your damn best game of the year. It is go time. It is crunch time. Not only do we have to win, we need to score an absolute bomb in this league. We're talking 160, 170, 180 points this week. And I believe in you, boys. We need a miracle, and we've seen in this league, miracles do sometimes come true.
So what Danny would need to happen is Danny would need to win his matchup, and then he would need 2 of Badaki, Thomas, or Sal to lose theirs. And again, with Badaki seemingly having a guaranteed win against Zach this week, really there's probably only one playoff spot open. So Danny is a long shot to get in.
And Mason, for future reference, maybe when we start setting the schedule for the Flock League going forward in Sleeper, we should make sure the land guys don't get to play each other in week 14, so shit like this doesn't happen.
Here's a little bit of a funny story. When I had my friend Anonymous over, he actually left his mask here.
You know, I'm starting to get a little attached to the turkey. I feel like I'm one with the turkey. I feel like I'm probably the second biggest fraud in this entire league.
I just watched Nathan with this damn turkey.
Okay, first off, who knew that a turkey hat could actually flap its wings? Like, seriously, I didn't ever know that was a thing.
I swear to God, Nathan used this bet as an excuse. He had this in his Amazon shopping cart. He had this on his wish list for the past 2 years.
Y'all need to see this entire thing. I mean, look how amazing this is. I mean, I made the right purchase here. Obviously, I would have loved to see it on Mason's head and him do stupid stuff with it, but good gosh, I'm kind of having a blast, not gonna lie.
I haven't seen this guy smile since week 3. he throws on a turkey hat. He's a completely different guy. He's saying, oh my gosh, I'm going to wear this next video. I love this. This is my new look.
Let's be honest. The amount of atrocities I've committed in this league over the entire season is worthy of me wearing this, not just this episode, but next episode as well. I need to have this thing on for longer than one episode because it's just, I deserve it, and it's kind of fun to wear. If you guys can come up with a good name for this turkey hat, he needs to be named heading into next week's episode. I'll have a big announcement for you. Just, again, drop it in the comments. Drop the name that you think the turkey should have in the comments, and I'll filter through them and see which one is the best, and I'll give you guys a shout out in the next video.
Nathan, you can fall in love with the turkey. I think you should name it Nathan Jr. That's my vote. All right. And I will say, the head neck of the turkey does look a little bit sus to me.
Thaddeus, maybe? What about Giuseppe?
But that's on you. You can have that on your head. I'm just happy I don't have to.
He kind of strikes me as a Reginald.
And I was trying it on in my kitchen. I live on a somewhat ground floor by like the pool of our apartment complex, and you can see out. Like, people, if they're out there, they could see in if they're really trying to look. And I was just trying on this mask, hanging out in the kitchen, and I saw a couple of people come through on a tour. These happen, a couple times a week. They're touring to see if they like the apartment building, and I didn't really notice it. And almost every single time when someone comes on a tour to this apartment, as you do, you look through. My apartment's like halfway a fishbowl, depending on if we have all the windows open or not. So you just look through. You're looking and see what's happening.
Then you've got what's worthy of a double turkey slap, and that's not claiming Ray Davis off of waivers, playing good enough defense to just freaking win the week. If I win that week, I am in the mix to still make the playoffs despite my other 3 mistakes. I mean, good gosh. I should be doing this all day. This is awful.
And there I am, sitting at the kitchen counter, trying on my friend Anonymous's mask, and just, playing with it, trying it on. It's not Halloween. It's December. It's far from Halloween. And these people look in, see me, see what I'm wearing, and definitely are not going to be living at this apartment complex, because there's no way they did not go home a couple in a car. You know what you do. You guys talk shit when you get in the car. You talk shit about everything that just happened together. That's what makes a good relationship last. They definitely went in the car, said, did you see what I fucking saw? What the fuck was that? No fucking way.
And then you have Joe also sitting at 6 and 7, but they have so few points scored. They need so many guys in front of them to lose for them to jump up. And they are both pretty big dogs in their respective matchups. So, and then Nathan and Bush are battling it out at the very bottom of this league to maybe save face. It would be very embarrassing for them to finish behind somebody who's never played fantasy football in his entire life in Tom. So yeah, I mean, especially Bush is the commissioner in this league as well.
I'll tell you what, selfishly, I want to see every single one of the creators lose this week so that we can all be fighting for the toilet bowl. It boosts my chances at not being the one wearing the shirt. One other thing I forgot, I benched Jerry Jeudy when he dropped 40 points. That is worth an infinite amount of turkey slaps. There you go, 40 turkey slaps. Y'all should fire me for that. Can you tell I'm not freaking over it?
Question I do have, obviously in Canada, the way that the story is taught is Santa with his sleigh, led by the reindeer, specifically Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer up front, gives him maple syrup to fuel him throughout the night. I do have a question though. In Australia, is it taught that instead of reindeers, they have kangaroos leading the sled? Like, I do want to know the lore of Australian Christmas. Really enlighten me, Zach. I mean, Badaki, if you're also hearing this, you can let me know as well. I'm curious, like, do you guys have reindeers in Australia, or is it all kangaroos down there?
All right, by the way, I want to give you guys an update on the Chili's gift card card winner from last week's video. Remember, I said if we beat Joe and secure the bye week, I was going to give someone a $25 Chili's gift card. Well, the top comment was Will Yamo Dean. And I've been trying to reply. Like every time I reply and try and send a link or talk about Twitter or talk about Instagram, for whatever reason, YouTube doesn't let the comment go through. It's like I don't know if we're living in a world of censorship. Willie Modine, what I need you to do is I need you to comment down what your Twitter handle is. Okay, this is me on Twitter, so you can find me at Zach Savage with the X, ZAXAVAGE. Yes, I'm using time on this video to try and get this person a Chili's gift card. So again, DM me on Twitter, and then please comment on the next video, the video that you're watching right now from this account, and tell me what your Twitter name is. He said his favorite moment has got to be Pat Fryermuth's lateral fumble forcing Mason to lose, which that is definitely an all-time moment. I agree, and appreciate the love.